KYRS, Thin Air Community Radio, Medical Lake Spokane, 88.1 and 92.3 FM. We're also streaming live at kyrs.org. I'm Marie. I'm the AmeriCorps member serving at KYRS this year. I'm joined in the station this morning by 7 other AmeriCorps members serving across Spokane County. We're having a very special show. We are talking about why service matters. Service in our AmeriCorps positions and then also community service in general. This is AmeriCorps Week, and so we wanted to have a special time here on the radio to talk about all of the great work that's being done in this area. We'll also talk about ways that you can get involved, too. If you're listening, you're interested in helping out at our service sites, or if you just want to incorporate a sense of service into your life. Little things you can do, all the way up to big things, like taking an AmeriCorps position, which is often a year-long commitment. I'm going to start by introducing myself, and then we'll go around. I'm Marie. I work at KYRS Community Radio. I do mainly volunteer coordination here and youth engagement.
My name is Colin Adkins. I'm a Habitat and Wildlife Monitoring Assistant for Turnbull National Wildlife Refuge.
My name is Zachary Porting. I am the VISTA member at Spokane Valley Partners, serving as a community garden coordinator.
I'm Crystal Winter, and I work at St. Anne's Children and Family Center, and I'm a teacher assistant in our kindergarten preschool class.
I am Jessica, and I am working at Hearth Homes out in Spokane Valley, and I am their volunteer coordinator.
I'm Jordan Norton, and I work at the campus kitchen at Gonzaga University, bringing food to the homeless community.
And I'm Gabby Ryan. I'm an AmeriCorps VISTA serving at Eastern Washington University's Office of Community Engagement as their Eagle Volunteers Program Coordinator.
And I'm Gretchen Chomas. I'm the AmeriCorps VISTA leader at Spokane County United Way.
We have quite a group here, everything from food services, volunteer coordination, environmental work, and so this should be a great time to all share. I'm going to start by asking everyone here to give a little description of AmeriCorps. What is this? I often say it's Peace Corps, but completely different. There's a lot of people in our community that don't know what we talk about when we say we're AmeriCorps members.
Sure, yeah. The AmeriCorps program engages people. I come across a lot of young people, but it's people of all ages in a year of service. It's a very intensive year of service. We're full-time volunteers, receiving a stipend for our time, but we're really bringing ourselves to the communities of America and doing service of all kinds.
I think you also serve in these communities where the populations may be underserved and you live in kinship with them. During your service term, you understand maybe struggles that they're facing, and you get to learn how to better serve them.
And we are part of an initiative from the the Corporation for National and Community Service, and there's about 6 different sectors you can get involved in, like environmental stewardship, this is for state and national. I'm part of the education, there's healthy futures, there's economic improvement, veterans and military families, helping them out. And then there's also VISTA, Volunteers in Service to America. And the last one is National Civilian Community Corps, and they do like 8-week programs. There's none of them here, but they do 8-week programs, and they also have a year-long service to just provide some relief to maybe disasters or work on other projects, usually for 6 to 8 weeks.
And a lot of people who do know about AmeriCorps know that we're paid not very well for our time. How does that feel? I know it's sometimes a struggle to find a rent that's low enough that you can afford it, and you're really committing yourself to a year of lower pay, but lower pay. It's called a stipend instead of a salary, just to keep you alive during the time that you're serving. Gabby talked about this a little bit, wanting to be in the community at the level of the people that you're working with, and so just how has that really manifested itself in your lives? Was that hard at any point so far?
I think it's definitely difficult, but I think it also helps you become a really resourceful person. And through that, it enables you to gather this knowledge and kind of intel in your community that you can use to help the people that you're serving.
What would be an example of that?
Like, just going through, it's kind of encouraged that when you sign on for service, you sign up for food stamps, and going through that process and having to experience what it's like to go to the social services building and have to go back and forth and not having the right paperwork or the right stuff that you needed, and just the having to experience that is just one little example that I can think of.
Yeah, and the stigma of pulling out that card and, yeah.
Yeah, the issue of a salary or what we call a stipend comes up a lot, especially when I tell others what AmeriCorps is, and they ask, like, well, how do you make money, or how do you do this? But it's also a reminder that we're not here to make money. We're doing something beyond ourselves, and that's kind of what AmeriCorps is about. And it definitely, I think, to your point, tells us a lot about ourselves and what we can subsist on, and do some really great work despite all that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. How do you think service has impacted your goals or your dreams and I guess your life path? I know for me here at KYRS, I've been exposed to a lot of issues that I didn't even realize existed in the Spokane community. And so it's changed my values. I thought I wanted to be a foreign correspondent, and now I'm starting to think more locally, thinking, wow, there's a lot of stuff in my own backyard that I could be working on. Do any of you have experiences like that?
Well, yeah, I came in I wanted to, do big things in my life, and those big things are for sure down the line, but just having to live day to day, even with our food stamps, like having to live month to month where, you have to think, it's this day and make the most of this day. And, there's a lot of other people out there calling for resources every day as well. And we have to do the same thing, calling, hey, what resource can I get? Because I can't afford this. Can I go to the dentist? Can I, go to the doctor? And then calling the places that you're able to go to. And then that's what other people have to do, like Gretchen said, for getting a certain paperwork and having to go back and calling out of work. There's people every day having to do that can't miss work that much. At least for us, as long as we make up the hours, we're fine. But yeah, it's definitely living a day-to-day thing and just trying to do the best for the day. And that's how a lot of people who are in impoverished areas or refugees, they've got to deal with that every day.
We bring up a lot of the challenges associated with a AmeriCorps year, but there's certainly a lot of benefits too that reflect on the AmeriCorps members and the community members that they touch. Personally, the AmeriCorps experience has brought me a lot of direction. As like a young person leaving college with my bachelor's, the job market not being what it is in the environmental industry, the AmeriCorps program is able to offer me a lot of I would say actually empowerment is probably the best word I think that can describe what the AmeriCorps experience can offer, because you're really in charge of your service year and the things that you're doing, and you take ownership of those projects, and it's just gone to great lengths, I think, in my life to bring me a lot of really great experiences and grad school on the horizon and stuff, and I'm sure a lot of the other guys here can speak to their how the AmeriCorps member has influenced their lives as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree a lot with what Colin has said. And AmeriCorps is really a big adventure, especially for me, just getting the chance to move to a new city and meet a bunch of new people. And it is a lot of stepping into the unknown, but it's an awesome experience. And for myself, it's a good adventure, but it was also kind of terrifying at times. But it's just made me really appreciate the diversity of this city, and I am really excited to travel, but there's also just so many different cultures right here that I have gotten the chance to experience, so I'm very thankful for this opportunity.
This is Crystal. I've got my bachelor's in speech pathology, and obviously I can't work yet because you need your master's to be practicing for that. And with AmeriCorps, me and in my teaching position, I have to give, 30-minute sessions of tutoring, record those sessions, and it was something that was difficult for me to find in California. So now I'm here, I'm getting the experience, I'm doing the paperwork, I'm being put into this position that would have otherwise been more difficult to obtain. You know, coming from California, there are definitely a whole bunch more people, so I'm not fighting that battle, but just because I have been able to do all the work as that a regular paying person would do, it's come more from a place where I want to do it. I'm not receiving as much, so I'm humble to what I do get to do, and because of that, I ask for more. I try to get mentored. I'm always searching for like what will put me in a better position later on in life. And getting the experience now is definitely the best thing that I've been able to have.
This is Gabby, and AmeriCorps, gave me the opportunity to move across the country. I was a little adventurous when I decided to move here from Florida to Spokane. And I'd never been to Spokane. I'd never been to Washington. And I was so excited to start my position, mainly because, similar to Crystal's story, the job that I wanted to go into required a master's degree. I was able to find an AmeriCorps position that allowed me to serve at a higher education institution, which is what I wanted to go into for my career, to work alongside students as they serve the community. And I got to serve as an AmeriCorps and do this kind of job instead of getting without needing the master's degree. And now, because of the amazing Siegel Education Award, and being able to serve for 2 years and to claim 2 Siegel Education Awards, it will help me pay for my master's degree as I go on to get that. But now I understand what the job entails and what kind of work that I'll be doing as I go into my profession.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And Gabby, I was just going to tell listeners about the Education Award. It's about, just under $6,000 per service term that you can apply to your student loans or to grad school or other degrees that you're seeking, or even vocational training, I think, as well. And so that's another big benefit besides just the personal impact on yourself, having a year of service, and then also the stipend that we get. The Education Award can be really helpful to furthering your own path. A lot of us have mentioned moving here from various places, and so I was thinking we could just go around and each say where we're from, and maybe briefly why Spokane, why the position that you got here instead of elsewhere. I'm originally from Alaska. I wanted to pursue journalism, and so working at a radio station and working with underserved populations was really attractive to me, and I thought I can do anything for a year. Sure, why not? I'll move to Spokane. What about you, Colin?
I'm actually from Connecticut, from New England, but I decided I had this year kind of where I wanted to continue my AmeriCorps service, and I wanted to do some traveling. I'd been bitten by the travel bug, and I came across a position on a national wildlife refuge, which is a really unique experience. So it brought me out to Eastern Washington, and I'm just loving the experience of traveling somewhere else in the country and getting to know this community.
This is Zach, and I would say about the same thing as Colin. I really just had a year off where I wanted to kind of develop myself professionally and spiritually and in all those ways and aspects, and I think travel was the best mode for me to take that on and really realize who I am apart from a community and where I'm from originally, which is Missouri. And so coming here was a way to rediscover myself in a way and take on new obstacles and opportunities in my life.
This is Crystal, and I was down in California, and my grandma had a surgery, so I went up to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho to come, help her, take care of her, and just be aid to her. And then I ran out of money, so I was on Craigslist and in just Starbucks applying for jobs, and I had applied for St. Anne's online, and I went in there. They said, your profile fits this AmeriCorps profile, and I was like, okay, well, that's cool. And then when they brought up the teacher and I met her, they mentioned her, like, she's like, you could even look at her as a mentor. And, that's what really caught my eye, like a mentor. That's what I wanted. That's what's going to help me just to move on and make big dreams happen. So I was in Coeur d'Alene. I found it through Craigslist. And I mean, the money wasn't a big issue because, at least I was surviving. That's all I wanted to do was just survive with with just like your grandma helping you out. That's not always where you want to be. So I took the job. Mentor, yes. Surviving, yes. That's all.
This is Jessica. I am originally from Seattle, Washington, so still local to Washington. The site where I am working at is a transitional housing shelter for homeless women and children. And the job description just really caught me because it was really working to empower women. And after I had graduated with a law and justice degree, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with that. But I really am grateful for the chance to kind of learn what it's like to be an advocate for these women and their children and just gain experience from that.
This is Jordan. Like Gabby, I originally moved up from the southeast. I'm from Tennessee. I moved up here because I wanted kind of a clean slate. I enjoy kind of a challenge of finding people and finding a place in a new community. And this was an opportunity for that. I applied to a bunch of different places. Originally, my background is in agriculture, so I applied to many like community gardening places and stuff like that. And I found this post for Campus Kitchen, which still involved food, but it was more in dealing with the community and meeting people and feeding people. And I've found that that's like been of far more value to me than I could have ever thought.
This is Gabby. Like I said, I was feeling pretty adventurous moving from Florida to Spokane, but I had applied to about 18 different positions when I was looking at an AmeriCorps, and I had an interview with Molly Ayers, who's the director of the Office of Community Engagement, and the interview was just amazing, and I really believed in the work that the Office of Community Engagement was doing, and after the interview, I was like, I just really wanted to be a part of it, and they called me back a couple hours later and offered me a job, and I was like, that's it, I'm moving 3,200 miles across the country, and it's been an amazing experience to be in the Spokane community, and I definitely feel very invested in this community, and I plan to stay here to keep doing work even after my AmeriCorps term is done.
This is Gretchen, and I actually served a year and 8 months in Southern California with intertribal sports, working with Native youth down there. And after that, I took a full-time position, and I really just missed serving. And I felt very much like that's where I needed to be. And so I interviewed for some VISTA leader positions. And when I interviewed with Spokane County United Way, I knew on the phone it was the right place to be because I really believe in what they're doing and knew that I could really help what's going on here and have an impact in Spokane. And I am not disappointed because I absolutely love it here. But I'm originally from Pittsburgh. I did not say that. Go Steelers.
If you're just tuning in, we're doing a special show this morning in honor of AmeriCorps Week. We're talking about community service, its impact on us, why we decided to do that. We're all AmeriCorps members, which is a branch of national service that involves taking usually a full-time job for around a year and serving in a community. We've talked a lot about the impacts of service on ourselves, but the reason we're here is really to serve other people. And so I was thinking we should talk a little bit about the work we do and the impacts that we've already seen through our own efforts and the efforts of members before us.
So this is Gabby, and I serve at Eastern Washington University, which is in the Cheney community, a little outside of Spokane. Cheney has a 49% poverty rate, so there's a lot of need in the community, and my position, the focus areas are K through 12 mentoring in the Cheney School District, in which we send over 100 mentors into the Cheney School District to mentor at-risk youth, as well as food access. So through multiple multiple grocery distributions. We're able to distribute over 3,000 pounds of food a month to the Cheney community, and as well as large-scale service projects similar to MLK Day of Service. So we're able to get college students out for one day, maybe for a few hours, just to really meet the needs of the community. So it's a great experience to be a part of. And we've involved over 2,000 volunteers last year when I was serving, and over 4,000 community service hours. And this year, I'm about halfway done with my service term, and we've been able to involve 2,150 volunteers and over 4,200 community service hours. And we've distributed, since September of 2013, we've distributed more than 17,000 pounds of food into the Cheney community. So it's been a great experience.
One impact that I've seen just over the past little bit, we've started at the campus kitchen. We began to serve bi-monthly, so every other Tuesday we'll go to O'Malley's Senior Center, which is a low-income elderly living facility, and we serve a lunch there. And at first we had kind of smaller numbers and things like that, but it began growing, and you could tell how appreciative the people were. And there's one lady that comes up and hugs us every time, and it's just you can see that growth of just kind of they love to see us. That's like one of the highlights of their week, So it kind of culminated last week, or this past week, a couple days ago. They actually brought us a cake. They all put their money together, and they went up to Costco and bought us a cake, and it was really awesome to just have a little celebration with them, and they're all thanking us, and it's just been really cool to see that kind of evolve over time.
I'm Crystal, and I'm at St. Anne's Children and Family Center, and we serve about a little over 200 children, 4 weeks to kindergarten right now. And one of the best things that I see is volunteers from schools coming in. My favorite are the foster grandparents. So these grandparents come in, they volunteer their time. The kids love them. They love the kids. They're just smiling when they see each other. And I smile when I see the grandparents too now. But St. Anne's is part of Catholic Charities, and Catholic Charities has about 13 other divisions. And another part is we have a garden at St. Anne's, and we're trying to get our garden started because we have some new food programs in the school, like Step Up and Go and the First Lady's Let's Move program. And I got in collaboration with Food for All, which is part of Catholic Charities, and we're trying to collaborate to bring some more help towards our garden. And another subdivision is the Christmas Bureau, and that was my favorite event so far that I was able to be part of because I do childcare. So Christmas Bureau collaborated with Catholic Charities. They said, hey, do you have anyone that we could borrow for the event, because we have this childcare section. We've never had it as organized. We'd like to. And me being AmeriCorps and being that extra support in the class, they were able to take me out during Christmas season because kid ratios are low to teacher ratios. So I came out, went to Christmas Bureau. I was able to, the Christmas Bureau raised about $531,164 in donations. There were 15,783 kids that were given extra toys and books that last year. 30,208 individuals were helped. So for those 30,000 individuals that came in, I watched about 100 kids a day, and I was able to coordinate about 3 to 4 volunteers every day. And every day I got better. The first day, I just started out like, hey, I'm in this new position. Next day came around, and I was like, you know what? The motto of the Christmas Bureau is not everyone will remember what gifts they received, but they're going to remember how they were treated. So the next day I came in, I was like, hey guys, hey volunteers, I'm Crystal, I'm going to be watching this section, and let me tell you the motto. So I just try to make everyone feel good, and then watching all those kids, like I said, 100 kids a day, that's a lot. They were all only with us for about 30 minutes, but just being able to coordinate that in the community and seeing all the people leave, like parents come in saying like, my kid's never been a part of daycare. They're kind of nervous, or hey, my kid's never been a part of daycare. They're running in here, and that was awesome to see, just different kids like smiling, and then at the end of the little daycare 30-minute session, hour session, every kid would get a little toy truck that was put together by the Hoo Hoo Express Club. After the toy drive from the Spokane Chiefs, they were given a teddy bear. So we had a bunch of teddy bears, hundreds of teddy bears. And so they got a teddy bear, got a toy truck, and they just like left smiling. And like that was my favorite part of the community, like being part of everything.
Does anyone else have favorite moments like that? Times where you just felt like, this is why I'm here and I'm spending my time this way this year.
Yeah, I was actually as part of our community planting days out at the Turnbull National Wildlife Refuge, was able to give a child her first tree planting experience, and that really, I think, kind of lit her up. She was really excited about that, and just right as we were leaving, she was like, "That was the first tree I've ever planted." It was adorable.
This is Gabby, being at a higher education institution, one of our goals is to get students to think about what does community service need, or what does it mean as far as your professional life, and how are you going, even after you graduate college, to continue to serve the community. And I remember we've had so many amazing student clubs and organizations on campus serve, and we've had one particular group that's done so many service projects for us, and they've been such a huge help. And I remember when their president came in, and he was just talking about wanting to involve his peers in community service, and he was just so passionate about serving the community. He said it's so important. Within our club, the service has helped us gain a new sense of brotherhood, and I think that everyone should be able to understand, like, you grow closer together, but you also feel more invested in your community, and everyone should be giving back to the community. And so we're trying to get students to think more about possible postgraduate service options, and getting to see students that realization of being invested in the community and how close you feel to your peers, but also to the community when you choose to serve. It's been a great experience. And we have another AmeriCorps in the Office of Community Engagement, and her name is Liz, and she is our college access coach. She works a lot with the Cheney School District, and last year she was a student at Eastern, and she was an Eagle volunteer leader, and she chose to go into AmeriCorps after she graduated. And we currently have an Eagle volunteer leader who plans to apply for my position as I will complete my term of service in September. She'll be graduating, and she wants to pursue postgraduate service opportunities. So seeing that change of culture on campus, that more and more students are inquiring about postgraduate service opportunities like Teach for America and AmeriCorps and Peace Corps, and getting to be that resource. I keep a huge AmeriCorps VISTA Serving Here poster on the front of our office door, and it's really students come in and they ask about it all the time, and I get to show them the wonderful AmeriCorps website, and I get excited showing them, like, oh, you can go to Chicago if you want, or maybe you want to go to Florida. So just getting to share my passion for serving the community, and see students realize how much of an impact they're making in the community, but also think about what they're going to do after they graduate and whether they want to be an AmeriCorps as well. It's been extremely rewarding.
This is Jessica. So we work with homeless women and children at Hearth Homes, and we recently had 2 mothers who just had 2 newborn baby girls, and I've been able to hold both of them, and it's just in those like quiet moments when you get to hold these newborn babies, and you just remember why you're serving, and it's to provide them with safe and secure housing and that support that they need to just transform their lives and show them that they're worthy of this love and support. So those have been 2 just great moments for me.
If you're just tuning in now, this is KYRS Thin Air Community Radio. We're doing a special show this morning in honor of AmeriCorps Week. We have 8 AmeriCorps members, including myself, in the studio today, talking about the impact of our service and the impact of that service on ourselves, the way it's changed our lives and our mindsets. And a lot of us, as we've been going around, have mentioned the volunteers that we work with, the little girl who plants her tree for the first time, the volunteers that then choose to pursue service positions with AmeriCorps, Peace Corps, or Teach for America after working with us. I was thinking we could talk a little bit more about that, the role of other volunteers in our organizations. I can speak to that for KYRS here at the radio station. We absolutely depend on volunteers. We have 1.5 staff members, and then myself, a full-time AmeriCorps member, and then everything else is done by volunteers. All of the programming, all of our accounting, all of our emails and social media, you name it, it's done by volunteers. Is that true for probably for a lot of us, actually, that we're working with organizations that need you, the listeners out there, to come in and donate 1 hour, 2 hours a day, maybe 2 hours every week, whatever you'd be able to do.
I know for a fact that at Spokane Valley Partners, volunteers make a big portion of the work that's done there. To keep overhead low, we have quite a few people come in regularly, and I believe last year alone, we had enough volunteers to equate to 10.5 full-time positions, which is incredible, and that just gives us more resources to serve those who are underprivileged. And for myself personally at the community gardens, it's very true as well, because I work 2 sites, one in the middle of Spokane Valley and then a second one at Edgecliff Community. And I know, looking at these large acreages of land, that it would be impossible for me myself to till, provide soil, and work this stuff myself without the help of people. And it's very exciting to see them come in and bring their own passion and education and interest and all the things that they're able to provide, and it really creates a diverse culture for us to provide for the community.
You have an opportunity this weekend, don't you, Zach?
Yes, I do. That's right. Actually, our first spring cleanup is going to be this weekend, so if anyone is interested in helping out, you could find the event on Facebook through Spokane Valley Partners Community Garden. Just search for us, and we are there. It will be 9 in the morning to 1 p.m., and feel free to drop by at any point and see our site. All the details are listed there, and I'd love anyone to show up.
I bet a lot of us have other events like that we would love, you, the listener out there, to consider coming and giving back in whatever way that you want to, whether it's working at a community garden or volunteering in a refugee situation or whatever it may be. So jump on the mics, tell us, pitch what your organizations are working on.
This is Gabby, and being a VISTA at Eastern Washington University, I primarily work with students. But I also work with staff and faculty. They serve alongside of our students, which is amazing. So if we have any Eagles out there as students, staff, or faculty that are interested in getting involved in service, we have opportunities with food access, mentoring youth, serving at large-scale service projects, but also if there are any students that are just extremely passionate about social justice issues and they want to be a leader in the community, our applications opened yesterday, and I'm actively recruiting for next year's Eagle Volunteer Leadership Team. And I don't know, that's about all the service opportunities that we've got for students.
This is Crystal, and at St. Anne's, you can definitely come and volunteer. We have school cleanups. For Christmas, we had a bunch of Gonzaga students come and help with all of the Christmas centers. We had cake walks and ice fishing, so I personally hung out with 3 other volunteers doing ice fishing for the kids. You can come into the classrooms and just be that extra support in the classroom. I mean, it's just awesome to be with one kid and just play a game with them, or show them anything that you know as far as hand clapping games. What is that? Miss Miss Mary Mac. Yeah, so just being able to share that with the kids, and after, like, they love you and they give you hugs. And I mean, toddlers and infants are awesome, but when they talk and they have language, like our preschoolers, they're pretty just full of joy and always accepting people to hang out with. Always new friends. Never, no one, they don't see color, they don't see gender, they don't see anything.
In the upcoming fair weather, we've already seen a great deal of it. So if you're looking for something to do outside, definitely consider coming to Zach's planting and community garden cleanup this weekend. But also on the horizon, out at Turnbull National Wildlife Refuge in Cheney, we've got a lot of events, including another community planting event. So it's a great event for the whole family. Bring your little ones. Maybe they can plant their own first tree if they've never ever planted a tree before. Hopefully it'll be the first of many. That's going to be Saturday, May 2nd, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And the Friends group puts on a big potluck afterwards. It's a really great time. You can come out and meet the refuge staff, go for a hike afterwards. And speaking of the Friends of Turnbull group, they're a great nonprofit. You can do lots of volunteering through them as well. And they've also got a bunch of great events coming up, including bird watching classes. They've got a talk coming up in June from Scott Woodward. That's going to be a great talk all about the wilderness warriors. And I myself am actually leading a animal track and sign class on May 16th. You can sign up for all of those at www.fotnwr.org. That's the Friends group, or just Google search Turnbull National Wildlife Refuge.
Additionally, if you're just looking for opportunities in general, there's a website that is sponsored by Spokane County United Way and the city called volunteerspokane.org. I know a lot of our VISTAs and AmeriCorps members use it to post listings on there, but I believe that it now currently has the Spokane Gives Week opportunities, and Spokane Gives is going to be April 25th through May 2nd. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with what it is, this will be its second year. And it's a week in which the city really lifts up and highlights volunteerism and encourages people to get out and volunteer. Last year, over 6,800 people volunteered, and that brought in over 2,700 hours of volunteerism during Spokane Gives Week. And this year, we're going to end it with Bloomsday, so all of those volunteers will also get to be part of it. But it's a great way to just get out and come together as a community.
And this is Crystal again from St. Anne's, and I mean, I am bigger part of Catholic Charities, so if you don't want to go through the background check of having to volunteer at St. Anne's, we've got, Food for All, Furniture Bank, House of Charities, St. Margaret's Shelter, like I said, 13 different sectors where you're able to be a part. This Saturday, the Sons of St. Patrick's Day the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick are having their parade, and St. Anne's will definitely be a part of that. So go to the community gardens, go clean up, and then come afterward and walk in the sun, get some tan going on.
What if someone out there is listening and they don't have time? They're working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, they have kids, they can't really commit to being a regular or even a one-time volunteer. What would be your advice for just having a service mindset? I know that's something I have to work on sometimes here, is, I'm serving. This isn't about me. This is about helping, whoever I'm with. And I think you can do that in every moment of your life. And so maybe, Gabby, would you want to speak to that?
I know a lot of nonprofit agencies around here have needs for donations as well. So maybe if you don't have the time to volunteer, there are plenty of opportunities to gather your friends, gather your peers, maybe your classes, your jobs, and host a donation drive. I interacted a lot with a Crosswalk Teen Shelter. They're always in desperate need for teenager-style clothing. A lot of times they receive clothing from an older populations, whereas the teenagers may not have fun wearing that clothing so much as they would really love if some Gonzaga, Whitworth, and Eastern students could clean out their closets, do some spring cleaning, and drop them by crosswalk, they would absolutely love it, as well as organizations like Inland Northwest Baby, Vanessa Behan Crisis Nursery. They're always looking for diapers, which is such a large expense for mothers to have to take on, and to be able to provide diapers to those families is just an amazing opportunity, as well as, I say, being an advocate for the community, being aware of the social justice issues that the Spokane community faces, and helping raise that awareness among your peers and the community, and just really being an advocate and speaking up against injustices is a huge one. And if you're doing that, then you're really making a difference in the community. You're changing people's minds. You're transforming perspectives, and that can make all the difference as well.
This is Jordan. I think a lot of times people think they have to do something very big. They have to make a large donation of time or money or effort towards something. Luckily, you've got us people doing that for you. And but, incorporating a thought process in your everyday life that's just thinking about, like, oh, how can I help somebody today? I don't know, maybe somebody needs help crossing the street. Maybe there's, you see somebody drop something, you just pick it up and give it to them. Or even in my experience working with the homeless community sometimes, just a smile and acknowledging that they actually exist can brighten someone's day so much. It's just, it's a game changer for a lot of people. And so keeping that in mind, you can just, kind of make a better world just by doing it with individuals.
This is Jessica from Hearth Homes. Agreeing with what everyone else is saying, and also I think we all have Facebook pages that community members can like and follow, and just to keep track with all the resources for, Community Valley Partners and for United Way, Hearth Homes, Catholic Charities. Just maybe you can't give time weekly, maybe you can't give a huge donation, but just liking what we're doing or sharing what's going on in the community. And speaking of Bloomsday, like a great way to engage with the community, as well as, your school, your club groups, creating like some sort of pledge drive for a charity of your choice. And just really, it's a great way to do something for a good cause and also just have fun with it. So, yeah.
Those are big things to take on as well. But going back to small things, Catholic Charities has a coffee shop called New Leaf, and they help women trying to get back into the workforce. So just going by there and grabbing a coffee. There's box tops for education, labels for education. Take time after you're done with the can or the box, cut it out and bring it to your school. I'm sure most schools accept those. And also going back to just saying no to indifference. Like if you see someone on the side of the street that needs help pushing their car, it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes sometimes. Yeah, if you're in a hurry, don't do it. But when you have the time, writing a little note to somebody, just again saying no to indifference. It's hard to write a note sometimes to just support somebody, but just saying, hey, I love the work you're doing. The way, like Grandma Cornelia, she works with kids. I wrote her a note saying, like, the way the kids, like, smile at you make me smile too. And then she, like, loved it. So there's just small acts of kindness that also make a difference and motivate that person to pass it on.
If you're just tuning in now, we're doing a special show on KYRS about serving our communities, and we're AmeriCorps members who are working across Spokane and Spokane County, oftentimes in organizations that need a lot of help. They need donations, they need time, they need money to keep going. A lot of the work is not easy, and so if we have totally inspired you and you're thinking, maybe I want to do AmeriCorps or Peace Corps or Teach for America, we can give you some advice. You don't need to be intimidated. Application process is extensive but fairly easy to get through. And so, Gabby, if you wanted to start us off with maybe a little bit of application advice. The first thing, if you're interested in AmeriCorps, which is national service, you can go to AmeriCorps.gov .gov, yes, .gov, and search nationally for all different types of things.
And my advice would be is if you find an AmeriCorps position that you are really interested in, there's always a contact on that page on the position posting, and that would be the contact for the supervisor, and you can give them a call and talk to them and just ask them questions. I know supervisors would probably be really excited if you called them and asked about the possibility of serving alongside of them as an AmeriCorps, and you can also ask them if they have current AmeriCorps serving in the position and ask if you can meet with them or just talk to them about challenges that they face, rewarding about the rewarding work that they do, and it's really great. And I always invite the Eagles at Eastern, if they're interested, stop in the office. I'll help you navigate the website. If you complete your resume and you want someone to look it over, or if you want to ask the supervisor for like a mock interview, those are all really great things to help calm your nerves as you go through the application process. I would say that all AmeriCorps have an extremely rewarding experience, and that most would definitely promote AmeriCorps out and encourage their peers and their friends to think about it. So if you were to approach any AmeriCorps alumni as well as current serving AmeriCorps, they would be definitely very excited to help you with the process.
I would encourage people to just kind of look around for all over the place. Don't be afraid to move across country. It leads to a lot of personal growth and things that you never would have thought you'd be able to do, you can now do. And it's just been it's a great process. But you can also serve in your community, and that's a very needed thing as well, to have very invested people in each community. And so just don't be afraid to kind of reach out and go to where you've never been and do things you've never done.
I'd also like to add that as you've heard, we're all from different backgrounds. We've all majored in different things, have different life experiences. It's really more about your desire to serve and give back than it is anything else out there. I'm doing, in 2015, AmeriCorps VISTA is turning 50, and I've been doing extensive research trying to find the history of VISTA in Spokane. And through this, I have met dozens of people. I feel like everywhere I go here, someone's like, oh, I served and I was here and I did this. And they all have these great stories and great experiences that they share back with me, and they're all doing very different things throughout the community. Like it's a natural, like people think, oh, you go into nonprofit work or public service, like that's natural. But we actually, a former VISTA is the owner of a bar on East Sprague here in town. Like there's a lot of other places that you can see people who have served before. So it's really anybody can serve.
You brought up a good point. It's a special year. AmeriCorps is turning 20, and then AmeriCorps VISTA, which used to be a separate branch, is turning 50, which is crazy. Do we know offhand some history of AmeriCorps?
We do know a little bit. In Spokane, we have pretty much had VISTAs since the beginning back in the late 60s. They have served just about every nonprofit, I feel like, in this town has had a VISTA at some point. But the ones who have had the most impact and have hosted and the most VISTAs have been SNAP has had a whole bunch, and the Northeast Community Center. I recently was in contact with Feed Spokane, and at the beginnings of Feed Spokane, they had 3 VISTAs. Second Harvest, their entire perishable food, that having perishable food was created out of VISTAs being there. Actually, SNAP's financial access branch, the entire financial access branch was created from a VISTA project. So it's really what the work that's being done is really having a long-lasting impact in our community, and it's really great stuff, and it's great to be involved with too.
Gretchen, what does VISTA stand for anyone out there who doesn't know what that is?
VISTA is Volunteer in Service to America. VISTA, yeah.
This is Gabby, and so AmeriCorps VISTA was actually the idea stemmed from President John F. Kennedy, and that most of the best-known anti-poverty programs, including Head Start and credit unions, were created by VISTA members, and so that's a pretty great thing to know. I think a lot of AmeriCorps, when they come in, they're like, oh, you trust me with doing this kind of work? Like, I don't know if I can do it. But you realize quickly that if you have the passion to serve others, the skills, you'll learn them. And Vistas make a truly, or as well as all AmeriCorps, they make a truly profound impact on the community. I mean, Head Start and credit unions are an example, and it's great that it's been around for 50 years, and it's because people keep it going. Current AmeriCorps inspire others to apply and keep the work going.
For VISTA, you guys serve mainly just people who are economically impoverished, right?
Yeah, VISTA focuses on anti-poverty as well as capacity building of organizations, and our projects are specific to like a 3-year project to create or sustain a specific project. They're aimed at being sustained after the year of service.
Okay.
Whereas AmeriCorps is more direct service, correct?
Yes, AmeriCorps' direct service to environment, to veterans and families, to environmental stewardship, education, and was the last one, and healthy futures as well. And to celebrate AmeriCorps, you can find what people and what other AmeriCorps are doing across the nation by hashtagging I am AmeriCorps, hashtag getting things done, and hashtag AmeriCorps works. So those are, I mean, if you want to use those hashtags and feel like you're part of this great community, then just go on the website.
Well, thank you so much for listening to this special show for AmeriCorps Week. We're running out of time, and so we'll have to say goodbye. But the show will be available via podcast, available on the KYRS.org website here in the next week or so. Thank you so much to all of you for coming into the station, for all of your great work. This is KYRS, Thin Air Community Radio, 88.1 and 92.3 FM.
KYRS is commercial-free, listener-supported community radio. Please support independent media by making a donation at kyrs.org or over the phone at 509-747-3012.